So now I come down into the real world from the clouds. I exist in the clouds. Yeah. Now they see me out the country. It's Red Pill. He's real. He came down from the clouds.
Came down from the clouds.
Right.
Up in the Dumbo, smoking the gumbo. Few blocks before green, yeah, up in the jungle, coconut bundles. It's history in the making. I'm popping like fish to the grease and the bacon. My bitch is Jamaican. United we stand, dividing these bands. They hide in their hands. I'm riding in vans, slide through your land. Hopping the sprinters, tour of the underworld, popping the minter. Land of the turtles, I'm popping that splinter. Watching the snowfall, dropping the winter. Dodging the pitfalls, watching this bitch fall. And I still managed like Rich Paul. The paper was calling, I had to go switch calls. I spoke to my twin, I told my young boys I'd never be broken again. Invoking the gins, smoking the spirits, I'm soaking the gin. Your man's in the woods, we smoking on him. Fuck do you mean? We up it and squeeze, tuck it and leave, we leaving a stain. Fuck a Febreze, running the banks, causing a crashing. Feather the feds, Moorish the fashion, horse was smashing, kicking the door. Wave on 4-4s, it was blasting, mother the gassing, loving the passion. Eat on your food, the brother was fasting. The weapon that formed against me was me. Perfected the storm as Bentley receipts. Washing the benches, we rinse and repeat. Sanctuary of self, I'm centered on me. Red is the pillar, I'm pushing the piece. Higher the level, I'm pushing the keys. They going for 19. The summer is mine, I'm going for 19. Thunder and lightning, flooded a brightling. The hunger was biting, biting.
Do not allow anything to take you off of your school. Real. He came down from the clouds.
Came down from the clouds.
Right.
Up in the Dumbo, smoking the gumbo. Few blocks before green, yeah, up in the jungle, coconut bundles. It's history in the making. I'm popping like fish to the grease and the bacon. My bitch is Jamaican. United we stand, dividing these bands. They hide in their hands. I'm riding in vans, slide through your land. Hopping the sprinters, tour of the underworld, popping the minter. Land of the turtles, I'm popping that splinter. Watching the snowfall, dropping the winter. Dodging the pitfalls, watching this bitch fall. And I still managed like Rich Paul. The paper was calling, I had to go switch calls. I spoke to my twin, I told my young boys I'd never be broken again. Invoking the gins, smoking the spirits, I'm soaking the gin. Your man's in the woods, we smoking on him. Fuck do you mean? We up it and squeeze, tuck it and leave, we leaving a stain. Fuck a Febreze, running the banks, causing a crashing. Feather the feds, Moorish the fashion, horse was smashing, kicking the door. Wave on 4-4s, it was blasting, mother the gassing, loving the passion. Eat on your food, the brother was fasting. The weapon that formed against me was me. Perfected the storm as Bentley receipts. Washing the benches, we rinse and repeat. Sanctuary of self, I'm centered on me. Red is the pillar, I'm pushing the piece. Higher the level, I'm pushing the keys. They going for 19. The summer is mine, I'm going for 19. Thunder and lightning, flooded a brightling. The hunger was biting, biting.
Initially in 2005, and I was being heavily. Kings County was founded officially in 2005, and I was being heavily influenced by the culture that I was seeing on 125th Street. I was beginning to have a second cultural awakening. I was also immersed into consciousness. So as I was learning more about myself, I decided that I wanted to look like how I was thinking. All of these things began to activate like ancestral DNA. I began to have visions and dreams. So the vision that I had was a group of us walking down the street with King Tut on our chest. Same way that we would walk 100 deep with the big horse, Ralph Lauren, the cookies, you know, the Silk Crest, you know what I mean, the Ski Man, the Suicide. We would rock all of these iconic polo pieces and Ralph Lauren couture. So I'm like, what if we had the same thing, but it was images and motifs of our ancestors.
Hey yo, we got it going on. I bring my together, we transform and become the Voltron. Yeah, we hit a right all our wrong. Hey yo, we got it going on.
My name is Jarrell Shaw, aka Quality, spelled differently but meaning the same. I'm here to promote my book, Quality Words to Self, to help a person understand the life that they have inside of them, the life around them, the life they come in contact with. The poetry book of the decade, Quality Words to Self, because it's all about quality over quantity, and every single one of us and everything has a certain quality within us that makes it and us what it is, right? So please purchase Quality Words to Self, available at Amazon, Ex Libris, and Barnes & Nobles. With all further ado, tap in.
No doubt. No doubt.
Healthy so you can get wealthy with True Health Love. We got everything that you need in terms of getting your body right for the fall, for the summer, just everyday wellness. We got herbal products. We got Sabi-inspired meal preps. We got juice preps. And we also have our soul food takeout spot in Southern California. That's right, Alkaline Soul Food in Southern California. Come on down. It's nutritious and delicious. Get healthy so you can get wealthy. TrueHealthLove.com. Peace.
Peace, family. Peace, peace, peace to you and yours. Peace to you and yours. Welcome to Know the Ledge. You are now rocking with the best. Yes, this is your host for the evening, Brother Red Pillar. I do have a special guest that's going to join us tonight. My good brother RAS Ben. He is going to be pulling up, and we're going to be discussing his new book, his new tome, entitled The DOGON Mysteries. All right. So make yourselves comfortable. We're about to do roll call. Before I continue, I'm going to have a word from our sponsors, and that is Patreon. We'll be right back. Peace. Currently, for the month of October, we are introducing the KT Alien family to our good brother RAS Ben, who will be conducting a 4-week masterclass entitled A Pivot in Time. Please make sure that you take full advantage of the master teacher delivering some information that you probably never heard in your life. The good brother will be coming through with a masterclass every week. The first class will be building on the Star Nations. As you do know, or you may find out tonight, this brother has made contact with the Star Nation, and he is one of our leading scholars when it comes to the Star Nation, and he will be able to tell you what's real and what is not, so you're not hoodwinked by Project Bluebeam and all of the distractions. Second class, he'll be building on economic alchemy, and that's basically showing you out there how to utilize the stones or the rocks of ages and whatnot, and utilize simple things like copper wire to take your ideas and take your visions and become a profitable business, how to do economic alchemy with crystal currency. And then we're going to get into the Dogon Mysteries, the quantum quickening, amongst other things that our good brother will be breaking down. His first class is tomorrow at 8 p.m., October the 4th, only on Patreon for the Citrine members. Okay. And then, of course, we have 40 AIs in a Mule, the 4-week masterclass by Brother Red Pill. We already started class 1. Next Sunday will be class 2, where I'll be taking you through the AI toolbox. All right. There are hundreds of apps that you can utilize to both enterprise, create, and do everything that you need to do in this new world that we live in. The 4th industrial age is amongst us. All right. So make sure you tap into the Patreon. Shout out to all of my Patreon members. These are only for Citrine members only. Okay, that is an exclusive top tier membership only for Citrine members only. Okay, so make sure you tap in. Peace. All right. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's do the roll call. All right, let's see who's in the building and whatnot. I know that we got Jamaica in the building and whatnot. Shout out to my Jamaica Massive and whatnot. Shout out to all of the family in the Caribbean. Peace, love, and light to y'all. Shout out to the family over there in the UK. Shout out to the family over there on the continent, the African family and whatnot. Shout out to all of y'all and salute. You know, keep doing what y'all doing. It seems like a lot of people are tapping in with me these days from across the pond and whatnot and asking me, when are we going to be in the UK, and that will be very soon. We'll give you a date coming up very, very soon. We're in communication with some people over there as we speak. Florida in the building. All right. Shout out to Florida. Florida. All right. Shout out to Florida. Sanford in the building. Mount Vernon. We got Harlem in here. And we got DC. All right. We got PG County in this thing. We got Hollywood up in this thing. North Kakalaka. All right. We got Missouri. We got Florida. We got the Lou. We got Pennsylvania, Yonkers, and whatnot. It's a global affair. The family is here. All right. The galaxy of Brooklyn. You know what I'm talking about? Or the planet of Brooklyn. You know, I'm talking about Bama up in this thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. DC, Mississippi, and whatnot. Yeah. San Francisco. Shout out to San Fran. Shout out to Cleveland. Shout out to Louisville. Shout out to Long Beach. Let's send some healing energy to Cleveland, family, as a collective. Don't underestimate your powers. Them children are missing out there. Them children are missing everywhere. But I feel the pain of Ohio, right? I feel the pain. So let's send that energy and let's put it out there that those children will be found. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, they will be found. All right. So give me 1 minute. Let me go ahead. I'm going to play this video real quick. Give me 1 minute.
Now they see me out the country. It's Red Bill. He's real. He came down from the clouds.
Down from the clouds.
Right.
Up in the Dumbo, smoking the gumbo. Few blocks before green, yeah, up in the jungle, cooking the bundles. It's history in the making. I'm popping like fish to the grease and the bacon. My bitch is Jamaican. United we stand, dividing these bands. They hide in their hands. I'm riding in vans, slide through your land. Hopping the sprinters, tore the underworld, popping the mentor. Landed the turtles, I'm popping that splinter. Watching the snowfall, dropping the winter. Dodging the pitfalls, watching this bitch fall. And I still managed like Rich Paul. The paper was calling, I had to go switch calls. I spoke to my twin, I told my young boys I'd never be broken again. Invoking the gins, spitting the spirits, I'm soaking the gin. Your man's in the woods, we smoking on him. Fuck do you mean? We up it and squeeze, tuck it and leave, we leaving a stain. Fuck a Febreze, running the banks, causing a crash and fed to the feds. Moorish the fashion, horse was smashing, kicking the door. Wave on 4-4, it was blasting, mother the gassing, loving the passion. Eat on your food, the brother was fasting. The weapon that formed against me was me. Perfected the storm as Bentley receipts. Washing the Benjis, we rinse and repeat. Sacred of self, I'm centered on me. Red is the pillar, I'm pushing the piece. Higher the level, I'm pushing the keys. They going for 19. The summer is mine, I'm going for 19. Thunder and lightning, flooded the bright lane. The hunger was biting, biting.
Do not allow anything to take you off of your square. It's the same thing like what we see right here. Yeah, it's cloudy, yeah, it's misty, but it ain't gonna stay like that forever.
All right. Yes, indeed. Shout out to House of Tunes. All right. That is the director who made this movie. He's been coming through for us forever. And I'm definitely honored. I had to bring the movie to him so he could go ahead and do what he had to do. So shout out to House of Tunes. If there's anybody out there, some of my some of my KT aliens, my creatives and whatnot, who, y'all got bars and y'all got music and y'all want to make movies and whatnot, y'all should tap in with me and we'll set that up. You know what I'm saying? We are beginning to shift more into a media company to provide the assistance on the design side, like from concept all the way down to production. But that's a conversation for another day. I'm just putting it out there. If there's people out there that want that look, you know what I mean? You want that good, clean, crispy video look. You want that crispy audio master sound. You want them, you know what I mean? You want that red camera and whatnot. You want that shit to be a movie. Get your budget together, because this is not Struggle Records. We're not doing that. This is not Rub Two Nickels Together Records. This is come with a budget, and you're gonna get what you need. You're gonna get what you need, and that's what we got for you. So let's marinate on that. Yeah. So building a label, not necessarily the label. I'm not really interested in a label more so than building a machine that will help the labels. I don't want to, a label is just thinking too small for me at this point. I'm looking for a bigger stake in this thing. I'm looking to be the company that Universal has to turn to. So not the label. The label is too small. Y'all start your labels up, and we'll help become the machine that will help the label, and then the artists and whatnot. You know, I'm a little too deep in the game just to be looking at it from a label standpoint. I want to build an industry. You feel me? I want an industry. So that's what my vision is. Industry, not label. Industry. You feel me? Bigger than a Live Nation, but yeah, Live Nation is humongous and whatnot. But what I'm looking at is Web3, blockchain, this new generative music and whatnot. I'm looking at all of that. So that's what I'm aiming for. We got our guests in the building though, so let me go ahead, and I don't want to keep them too long. I don't want to be rude and whatnot, because I do want to get in and get out. This show will be about an hour and a half, maybe an hour long. I don't want to be here for too long. I know y'all got things to do with yourselves. And I know that my good brother RAS BEN, he has things that he has to do, but we have to get this book in front of, we have to get this information to you. This brother just came from Brooklyn, New York. He had a long-awaited lecture yesterday. He smashed it. And then he also had a lecture in Newark, New Jersey on Friday. And he also put up some points up there and smashed it and delivered. And I got a whiff of the information. I was able to tap into the live stream, and I was thoroughly impressed. I was floored by the information that this guy was bringing. So yeah. What does the shirt say? This is the Red Opals merch. This is the shirt. We got the thing on the back, you know. We'll have that available very soon for all of my KT aliens and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to y'all. But yeah, the merch is on deck. We doing this rollout and whatnot. The album is coming out on Halloween, so this is the countdown. But without any further ado, family, I want to bring to the stage a master teacher who needs no introduction, but on this channel I have to introduce him because I have new people here. So this is my good brother RAS BEN. He's been doing this for more than 20 plus years. This brother's out of Philadelphia. He is an author of 5 New York Times bestsellers. I'm affirming it. You know what I'm talking about? That's what I do. I'm putting it out there. He has 5 New York Times bestsellers. He is a master with the pen. He has enlightened me on many different occasions about many different things, going all the way to the mounds, to the Dogon tribe, and then to the crystals, which you know I love the most. So without any further ado, I bring to you, brothers and sisters, our good brother RAS BEN.
Yes,
Yes,
I.
Yes,
The red pillar.
Yes. Stronger than 10 pillars. Yes.
Big up.
Yes, indeed. Big ups. How you doing, King?
Hey, I'm thankful, man.
That's right.
You know,
that's right.
The solar rays was out today. It was lovely.
Man, was it?
Like
I love the fall.
Blue sky.
Love the fall. Yes.
Yeah. So I got out, got my charge. Just finished a little avocado sandwich. Yeah, I'm good to go, Star. I'm thankful.
Could you do this? Because I did give you a great introduction, but there's no better introduction than the one you could give yourself. So for this new, I have a new audience. I have a few new people that have joined us and whatnot over the last few days and whatnot. So can you introduce yourself to my audience and let them know exactly who the good brother RAS Ben is?
Well, only title I'll really claim, Star. I'm a 40-year student of history, mystery, and prophecy, you know? I've been studying this thing for 40 years, since the early 80s, you know? And, you know, like you say, maybe the last 20, I've been able to pen some, you know, scribe some works, scribe some books. And so, you know, lifelong learner. But the Most High has put me in a position where I was able to work directly with the youth in, you know, culturally centered charter schools here in Philly from the 90s to not too recent, you know. I'm not still doing that. But, you know, when you serve the community live and direct, ministering to the youth, administering to the youth, yeah, you learn the skill to be able to say it in a way it's heard, you know? So that's me, man. You know? I got, right, like you say, I got the names of my works. I'm probably most known at this time for Rocks of Ages. There's
Yes,
two editions
indeed.
of that. First one came out in 2000. The new edition came out in '08. Then from there, we dropped The Great Mystery Philadelphia and its companion, Free Your Mind and Your Mind Will Follow. Then we came with what you might call a cousin, an updated cousin of Rocks of Ages called 5G Wellness 101, where, you know, Rocks of Ages, I got kind of deep and in depth, right? Might not be uh, relevant for people like, you know, they living in this 5G reality. They just need to know, what is 5G? Why do I need to be aware of it? And give me some basics that I could do to be well in this 5G reality, you know? So that's 5G Wellness 101. But then 2021, in the middle of the pandemic, came out with a book that I have been percolating on for decades. And Rocks of Ages, a new edition, also has a lot of this foundational work in it. An attempt to decode the Dogon cosmology. Because, you know, we'll get more into it, but I just feel like it's irrelevant.
Real quick. Is
Yeah.
that your artwork in the Rocks of Ages book? Is that your pen?
What you mean?
The illustrations that
Cover?
they have. There's a
Several.
character.
Nah, you know who made that you talking about the brethren with the chakras and everything?
Yeah.
Nah, that was a good brethren of mine.
That was fire.
See.
Okay.
But I'm gonna tell you who drew the original artwork that was inspired by.
Okay.
Is most people know him today is I knew him as Nasi, what they know him as now. The brethren down there in ATL, he did the
Moshibu.
he did the works for Black Panther. He did the jewelry.
Right. Baba G.
Baba G.
He's an artist like that?
Yeah, Baba G created them original works, man.
Man, you see,
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
there be people in this community that's wild gifted, man. I just gotta, I learned to ask questions.
I was fortunate enough to fall up under him in the 80s.
Wow.
As I say, I knew him as Nasi.
Nasi,
Right?
right.
And man, I witnessed some amazing, miraculous things studying under that character, man.
Yeah, he magical.
He is.
He's magical.
If
I
I
could
said
attest to that.
things I witnessed, a lot of people wouldn't believe me. That's why I'm not even going to get all into it. You know,
You were ready.
I don't want to sound too fantastical.
Right. You know what I'm saying? We live in this new social media age. If they don't see it, they don't believe it.
You're
They're
right.
like, shit, if you didn't have a picture or video of it, then they're gonna doubt you. You know what I'm saying?
But it is jive like verifiable.
Yes.
You know, because it made the news. Shit, I've been teasing y'all with it. Yo, when I met
Brought
this
a craft out.
When I met this brother, he was attempting to heal communities of geomantic spells, right? And so he came up. This is the heart of North Philly, like Diamond, Broad and Diamond, 18th and Diamond. There were these churches there that he said was the source of this evil, nefarious energy that was just permeating North Philly. And anybody that been in North Philly, you know, it's straight up concrete jungle. You know, the nefarious energy is palpable. You know, so the man would say these chants, these prayers around these churches, you know, and he said a prayer one day and the tower fell down the next, brethren. Right there, Broad and Diamond. I witnessed this thing with my own eyes, you know. I witnessed
Sound, frequency,
the
power.
word sound, power. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I witnessed this man out here, you know, cleaning up the atmosphere, right? Then the next day, bam, the whole tower on the church, the whole highest steeple thing just crumbled.
Look at that.
So salute, Nasi, salute, Baba G. You know,
I'm gonna run up on Baba G at the mall. He's right down the block at Black Wall Street, the new Black Wall Street, doing his thing and whatnot. So,
all right, yeah.
Pull up on the brethren.
You could tell him I'm, you know, and that's the thing too. I was a young brethren. I was young. I was like, you know, what, 20s, 20s.
A young Padawan.
I was a young Padawan. Yo, you know, people.
I've been learning your story though, Ross. I've been tapping in with you and learning your life story, and I'm very, very like it's so descriptive that I would love to see some type of documentary on you, bro, because your path is like others' paths. Like it's relatable. You feel me? The fact that you went to the gym show, you wasn't into gyms, and then they made you sit in and listen to it, and then you go home and you have dreams about the gemstones. They come to you. Your DNA was activated. Yeah. So those dreams or those visions as the quartz crystals in your blood saying, and that's your ancestors just bringing you. And then it brought you to write that tome because the elder was like, write a book. You know what I mean? Yeah. You had all of those flashcards and they was trying to catch you out there. Like you ain't know what you talking about with the stones and whatnot.
And I didn't.
I know, but then look at this. Look how, and this is a telltale sign. And the reason why I say documentary, because there's a RAS BEN out there right now who got 1 foot in and 1 foot out, but he's having visions. She's having dreams. She doesn't realize that her greatness awaits her or him, but it's that step towards your greatness, because greatness is just not going to come to you like a pair of pajamas while you're dreaming about it. You have to get up and walk towards it. So the fact that now because that book, Rocks of Ages, it did something for me, bro. When I got to the point where you were talking about the rocks for specific energies, grounding, or the ones that you wear when you want to be lit and whatnot, I took all my jewelry and switched it up because I was like, I'm walking around just with all of these rocks on me, right? And they canceling each other out.
Yes.
So I had to rearrange my connection. I did silver and copper. You know, I made myself a conduit.
You alchemically.
I alchemically shifted.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
your book was like a tome, like a Bible. And
Uh,
the irony of it is when I'm listening to your creation myth, I'm like, wow. So he didn't even. I'm thinking you was born with it. Like you've been running with the stones from day one.
nah. Like
So
what
yeah,
you're saying, right? There was this elder in DC. His name was Jertha Love.
it's who?
Very Jertha Love.
Jer for love. Salute.
Very important elder in DC in the 80s. He was Dick Gregory's mentor. All right. And then there was a next brethren named Keyboy Bay, who was Dick Gregory's chef. Dick Gregory came to DC. This man was preparing his food. So I fell up under them. And they were the ones who kind of forced me to be in this crystal workshop. And I wasn't paying no attention, man. You know? But you're right. That thing, Jertha Love's wife, afterwards, had us all circle up. And she said this power prayer. And you know how sometimes people would just be going through the motion in a prayer or whatever. But then sometimes you hear a prayer and you feel that thing reverberating in you, you know?
I went to a Trinidadian funeral,
Uh,
and they gave me what was called a book of hymns. I mean, I used to go when I'm not a church person, but my experience prior to that was like the Baptist, thing. I didn't have a book of hymns. Man, I walked out of that funeral ready to go back up in the church. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
Like,
So you
they
know
was
what
speaking
it
to
is.
she was, them songs was activating something in me. I promise you.
That's how this prayer hit me.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. Right. I got so obsessed with crystals. Now, by this time, I'm 34 years into my marriage right now.
Mm-hmm.
But this was the earlies. This was like the first year, firstborn, right?
Right.
And the funds was, you know how that is in your
Right.
20s, you building. Yo, my shit was
Right.
clean. The dollar was clean.
Tight.
So it was like I'm gonna start selling crystals to pay
Right.
for my crystal Jones,
Yeah, Crystal Jones.
right? And right, I'm bam, right. Malcolm X Park, DC, African Liberation Day. I got this. I call myself like, I'm flossing out here, right? This elder walked up to me, said, "What's this got to do with African liberation?" Man, nothing to say, brethren.
I used
That
to get that on 2/5 too.
That's what put all this in motion. I had to have some. Next time an elder came up,
Right.
I wasn't gonna be caught
With my pants down.
lacking. Yeah.
That's like Nas ether. It's people don't realize it. You go to sleep with that, and you could wake up with that shit on your mind. Like, did I just drop the ball? Did I mess up my chances? Because the elder done spotted me.
Yeah.
You know?
So I give thanks, man. I give thanks for that inspiration. And
No doubt. Look
I
at
had
this.
no idea where it was gonna lead me.
Facts.
But I'm thankful I'm here.
Look how the ancestors work, Ross. Somebody said, remember Black and Nobel on Erie Avenue, Ross?
Yeah, I was just telling you about that, man.
That's what I said.
I miss them boys up here. They on South Street now. And
Listen,
big up. That's a come up.
There was a time, 2015, I went to Black and Nobel on Erie to do a lecture, and they had a snow apocalypse. So the whole city was shut down, and it was cold as an MFR. I spent the night in Black and Nobel.
Oh, Smitty's.
I got the full Philadelphia experience.
Yeah.
And I woke up in the morning and went right downstairs to where they got the little coffee shop on the corner where it's active.
Right.
I was
hot,
soaking up all that. Yeah, I was looking for Beanie Siegel, bro.
I know you were.
I really was. But Black and Nobel being in the hood like that was a very I love them there too.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
them there too.
That was a big chapter in the
Yes.
Great Mystery Philadelphia, because in the earlys, when this was pre like, well, I guess it was Amazon book ordering, but you know, I wasn't built. This was in the earlys, like the early 90s, where I don't know, did I have a home computer? Did I have internet? I don't even know. But in my studies and wanting certain books that, you know, more time you had to have someone order them for you,
Order, right? Because we
right?
wasn't big on waiting for the delivery. Remember, they wasn't doing 1 day and 2 day orders like that.
Nah.
So people were not really big on ordering books when you could go to bookstores prior to Amazon's takeover. There was not a lot of bookstores, but there was a substantial amount of physical books in the streets and in the stores that you could kind of go places, because we would come to Philadelphia, me and A.A. Rashid, right there in Union Station, where the elder was at, who had a whole
Oh,
library.
yeah. I know you're talking about.
Man,
That was Reading Terminal.
right. Look, people
But
is out here telling us, let's get it on with the Dogon.
all right,
All right,
just to
send a
see
cash
that
app.
thought, right?
Nah, because they talking slick.
Who
'Cause
worked? Guess who was working at Black and Nobel at that time?
you?
Noble Ampu.
Oh yes, I remember.
Noble Ampu.
Noble Ampu was in
That
Black
was
and
my
Noble.
link. That
Yes.
was when I first linked with
Mhm.
Noble Ampu.
Right.
And yeah, man, that just set a whole chain of events in motion that
He came up by working in that store.
had a big part of the Great Mystery Philadelphia, you know?
Oh, yes. Shout out to Noble Ampu, who was very instrumental in our earlier days coming through Philly and whatnot. The brother was
Yeah.
very, very instrumental. Shout out to him. So yeah, let's get into this conversation
All right,
about
I'm ready.
Dogon
Ready.
Mysteries. I know that you're ready.
Now,
You was just
hey, because right, we are just kind of wetting their whistle, because you say we're gonna do a class series on your
yes, on Patreon. We're gonna go through the Dogon Mysteries.
all
I
right,
think that will be our first one.
all right.
Okay, that'll be our first class to wet the whistle of the people. We're gonna wet the whistle tonight, but we're gonna go deep diving on the Dogon Mysteries. We're gonna unpack your book. We I think every class for the 4 weeks is one of your books, and we'll be unpacking each one of them. We'll be doing deep dives.
There'll be
And I encourage, I encourage all my patrons. I think we'll have a discount code maybe for the students so they could get access to the literature. But there's nothing better than having the author of these books break it down. So when you do dive into the book, you have a cheat code to basically walk you through.
Yes.
I'm very interested in the way that you have been able to tie ancient Kemet and the Dogon Mysteries. Your research, in my humble opinion, it should be peer reviewed, not to the point where somebody's trying to debate you, but it should be peer reviewed amongst our scholars to update them on their information, so they are not just pulling from the Pale Fox book or other European tomes and whatnot. We now have a melanated author who's been who basically put his elbow into this thing and cooked up something substantial.
Yes.
So before we get into the illustrious history of the Dogon, I want to take a trip through ancient Kemet. You know what I mean? For all of my Kemetic students out there, and even for those who have not embarked upon Kemetic studies and whatnot, because for the past few years that hasn't really been on the forefront. And we always have to keep people, and one thing that I do say for the community that is known as the set tripping community, right? Not the conscious community, the set tripping community, where they negate their blessings because they be set tripping. And what I mean by that is they'll claim to have a multi-million year bloodline, but they'll say, I'm not no Kemetic person. I'm a Hebrew Israelite.
or I'm not into the Kimite, I'm a Moor. And then I asked them, well, before you became a Moor, what the hell were you? You're not making any sense because you're not willing to identify how long and how far your bloodline even expands. And one thing that you should know about bloodlines is that we're not a monolithic people. So you have multiple grandparents, great, 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 great. Everybody was doing something. Yeah, nobody was doing the same thing.
You can't tell me it's a rare person amongst our community that don't have ancestries on both sides of these waters, man.
Hell no. Right.
So they indigenous? Yeah, you indigenous.
Yeah.
Yeah, but guess what? You got some old world in you too.
All over you.
Might be from Europe. It might be from what
Germany,
Africa. Yeah,
Portugal,
yeah.
Brazil,
Yeah.
Africa,
And one don't
Antarctica.
negate the other. That's how we put knots in our DNA.
Yes. And I'm here to encourage you.
Knots and twisted by wanting to fight and argue about which ancestry you are.
It's a blood clot.
And in the process, negating the next one. That
right.
Their experiences, the genetic code they have, it's a part of
all that. Right. You building walls so that information won't even flow through your veins.
Nah. So my paradigm with that is both and.
Right.
It's both and. And then, like you say too, if you really study the Dogon and you study them Anasazi cultures in Southwest, same architecture. The Kachina in the Southwest.
In the Southwest, right.
Look like the garb the Dogon would wear in the Sigui ceremony.
Right. Yes.
You know, come on, man. Yes. You know, it's both and it ain't either or.
That's right.
And so the or, because now this is real. This is real. Like as far as that whole indigenous argument, right? The Nile is 30 million years old.
Right.
Nile River is 30 million years old. This river right down the street from my house, the Delaware and the Susquehanna River. Guess how old they are, man?
40?
Nah.
How old?
400 million years old, brethren. These are some of the oldest rivers in the world. So that is real. You can't tell me that doesn't mean
400 million years
400
old.
Million
Those rivers?
Yeah, man. The Susquehanna River, the Delaware River right here, up here in this region. Wow. 400 million years old, man.
I need to go bathe in them waters, bro. Wow. I didn't know that.
You want take your life in your own hand, go ahead, you know. It'll muddy these waters.
Mighty waters.
They've muddied them.
Oh, they muddied them up. Yeah.
You know, they polluted. They toxic. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But same way though, I hear what you're saying. But the point is that I'm making. I hear.
How old is the Mississippi?
Oh, that's a good question. I'd have to, you know.
That's ancient too.
Yeah. I'm not sure. That's a good question though.
Right.
But the point is, I hear the ones voicing like, yo, this might be the real old world. And, you know, this place has a lot to do with primordial humanity, right? I'm with that. But what happened in the Nile Valley in dynastic Kemet, the momentum of the historical events that were set in motion, right? We still live in them consequences, man. You can't not factor Kemet and the Niger River Delta, the Niger River, the
Congo River Delta, right?
You can't not factor them things, man. And if you if you do, you what I'm saying, you're only getting half the story. Half
Yes,
the
yes.
story that, won't
What
be told. So it's got to be both then.
I'm about to do something that's gonna help my homeschoolers. I'm about to do something that's gonna help because I'm real big on feeding my creatives source material, right? Those who make video games, those who write movie scripts, the mind them who's into fantasy real heavy, right? But they paint the picture with our face. And
Mm.
also for the homeschoolers that are teaching these star seeds about who they are. I want to go and ask you, I want you to break down for us, right? So we could compartmentalize the epochs in a better way. Because when we learn about Kemet, a lot of things are all over the place and we're not putting it in proper context into the epochs. So I want to know from you, my good brother, what can you please break down the 4 epochs of ancient Kemet? Put them in the right proper perspective. So when we teach our young ones and when we teach young people, when we teach the students coming into this, we could really walk them through the different ages of ancient Kemet so they could properly have a clearer vision as to what's pre-dynastic, what's not, what's the Theban dynasty, what's the Osirian dynasty. So let's walk through the 4 epochs of ancient Kemet before we get into the Dogon, please.
Absolutely, because it's all related.
Yes, it is.
Dogon record these epochs, and if you really wanna, like, part of what them call that crazy Dogon mystery, how the Dogon know about Sirius, and they, these isolated tribe in the Sahara. What we really got to do is put Dogon history, mystery, and prophecy, like who they are, where they ended up in what modern day Mali, right? In the highland deserts of the Sahara. How, you know, what's up with that? We got to study what you would call the geochronology of the Sahara. That we know the Sahara today is a desert, but if you study Kemet, what them say is that there's a giant lake, a giant underground lake under the Sahara. In certain ages of the earth, that lake comes above the earth. It's all tied into what time does that occur? The Kemites recorded it with what they call the precession of the equinoxes, where if you observe the equinox sunrise, there's going to be a constellation behind it that it rises with. We're all familiar with that because, we want to say we're in the Piscean age. Well, that's what it means. That if we look at the equatorial sunrise, it's going to rise with the constellation Pisces in the background. Each of those ages where, the sun will rise behind one of those constellations that last about 2,000 and some change, like 2,160 years, right? And we're transitioning from Pisces to Aquarius, right? We all know that.
Yes, star. Yes, yes.
But
Aquarian age.
why did the Kemites record this precession of the equinox? All the other calendars that they kept, a Venusian calendar, of course, the solar calendar, the Sirius calendar. They had about 4 or 5 other calendars that they kept up with. Of course, a lunar calendar. All of these things were directly connected to an agricultural event, agricultural phenomena.
Right.
When should we sow the seed? When should we anticipate the inundation of the Nile so that we get in some water? When should we harvest? Right? All of the other calendars was tied in with something functional that tied in with their day-to-day agricultural liberty. Well, what did this big 26,000 year cycle, you know, what did it account for? We know that the Earth, why we have a precession of the equinox is because the Earth is on a 23-degree angle, its axis, right? And imagine you have a wine glass with some water in it, right? And you're holding that glass at a 23-degree angle. Some of that water is going to be closer to the rim of the cup on one side than the other, right? But if you rotate that cup to the other side, now it's the other side of the rim that has the water closer to it. That lake that the Kemites say was under the Sahara, it does the same thing. So certain ages, the lake rises back up in the Sahara, and it changes the whole agricultural potential of that whole continent. Rivers that connect the Congo and the Niger,
Right.
and Lake Chad, all to the Nile, all of that becomes one water network, right?
Mm.
So the last time, and I'm just to tie it into your question, I know
Yes,
I've
yes.
kind of.
Nah, you good. You good. I just wanted to add on that I have a video about New York being almost the same thing. New York is a huge waterway that they put all of these buildings on top of. It's really a damn river over there. But I'm gonna let you continue. I'm gonna try to find that video.
All right. So the last time the lake, that submerged lake, was close to the surface, and these river waterways ran throughout the Sahara that connected the Niger River, the Congo River, Lake Mega Chad, the Mediterranean, and the Nile, all into one waterworks, right? That was called Ta Natir.
Tanatir.
Right. Western anthropologists or Western scientists, they would call that a prehistoric age, right? The Kemites say it was the land of Asar. And, like the land of Natir means God. It was the land of the gods, the land of the Neter, you know?
Yes, indeed.
All right. Ta Natir was ended by another epoch that Western historians would call prehistoric too. That's called Ta Seti. And that means like the land of Set. And if we study Set, Set is a Neter. He's a god of Egypt, but he embodies the elements of the desert, heat, barrenness, drought, famine, and lack. So Ta Seti,
The drying up of, right?
drying up
The
of, yeah.
receding of.
Ta Seti was an epoch, again, prehistoric, where that lake submerged, the desert expanded, a lot of the lush waterways and savanna and, fertile land dried up and desertified,
And also somebody just put in the chat that when the water gets dammed up, when dams are built, that's when plush fertile land turns into desert.
There we
You
go.
feel me?
There we go.
Real quick, can I share
Yeah.
this? I want to share this clip about New York City before we continue
Absolutely.
to get a better understanding of what that really is about. You know what I mean? Let's go to this TikTok real quick, y'all. Check this out.
Which is apparently buried beneath Astoria and Long Island.
Thank you, Snorlaxi.
So, you know how flooding in New York City seems to get worse every year, and the areas that flood don't really make sense because they're not as close to the river as other places that don't flood. Well, that is because New York City was essentially built over streams, swamps, and other waterways, like this creek, which is apparently buried beneath Astoria and Long Island City. Indigenous tribes who lived in what became known as New York City basically utilized natural resources rather than trying to change them. So they would build their homes along waterways. But colonizers essentially said, yeah, we're going to do things differently. This 1874 map of Manhattan shows you just how much water is beneath our city. Alphabet City, Thompson Square Park, that was essentially a swamp. And today it's a flood zone. And remember the video of Dyckman Street flooding? Look at just how many waterways that area was built over. And then this video of the one train flooding at 28th Street, yep, that was an entire stream. And don't even get me started about this like cesspool at the 157th Street station. That was 2 streams. New York City was literally built on water, and water has to go somewhere. A biologist once said, if you build your home on wetlands, you will have a hobby for the rest of your life because you will forever be fighting water. Add to that climate change and the fact that New York City's heavy buildings are literally causing the city to sink. Oh yes, we are also sinking. So that said, we are definitely going to be dealing with flooding that is going to get worse basically the rest of our lives.
I love that sound. Yeah, so New York is not what you think it is, guys. It's all an illusion. When they say that it's an illusion, it's almost like they built a Hollywood set on top of an ancient city. And this ancient city, you know, as you can see in the depictions, was very indigenous, similar to what we're going through in Atlanta, right? With Stone Mountain, aka Crystal Mountain, and the fact that this is an enchanted forest, but they have you thinking that this is just Black Hollywood or home of Freaknik, you know? So there are incorrect depictions about these lands that we live on, this ancient, this like RAS Ben points out, the morphogenetic grid, you know, the ley lines, like you know, imagine why so much money is running through New York. Why is the economic capital like that? It's literally currency underneath running through quartz crystal. It's an island, and all of that water is continuously flushing and rushing and running as the trains go on a piezoelectricity. The train tracks on top of the quartz is letting off charges, and there's currency. Think about that. So that city is going to be in danger if there's ever an earthquake, and there's a fault line that runs right through Harlem. So if there was ever a major earthquake, you will see an island go under, similar to what you saw with Atlantis. Shout out to Baron Theo the Mound Builder. Peace to the God. Islam. So yeah, very interesting. But let us continue, please, Ross.
Okay. So the epoch that we know is dynastic Kemet, where I guess what Western historians will say, yeah, this is when history began. That
Right.
epoch is called Ta-Mari, and that is, you know, Pharaonic Kemet, right? The Dogon record the history of Pharaonic Kemet, but they do it in a way that's different than we are familiar with, okay?
Right.
Because when we look at it, we have a linear angle of it, right? First dynasty, first pharaoh, Aha, Menes. Then we list all the pharaohs following Aha of the first dynasty. Then we'll say, second dynasty. And then a linear list of those pharaohs all the way up through, like, you know, the 30th and 40th dynasties and all of that, right?
Yes.
Dogon didn't do it. They didn't record the history like that. Because one thing we have to remember is that the pharaohs were usually backed and bankrolled by a priesthood.
Right.
And those priesthoods had totems. They had, you know, they repped something, right?
They rep something, right.
They repped something. So what did the Dogon do? They made the totems mythological characters. And the different things they did in history, they recorded in a mythological drama, right?
Mhm.
So in Dogon cosmology, they got this character named the Smith, you
Smith,
know, the
right?
Smith, not
Like
like
Goldsmith,
exactly the metal
blacksmith,
Smith,
right,
exactly.
right.
He was the metallurgist and ultimately the weapon maker.
And those were in those days. That person was akin to a Fortune 500 CEO. That's
Uh,
the level of
uh,
importance they had.
uh, uh.
Yeah,
Yeah, like the gun manufacturers of today,
like they, yeah, like the
bomb makers of today,
Colt,
Lockheed
yeah, the
Martin.
old, yeah, NRA heads and whatnot.
Yeah. And the pale fox uh was a priesthood totem, a
Okay,
gimmick. And so
okay,
when Dogon used these totem mythic characters in a mythic drama, right? They're really recording what happened in the Nile Valley, which priesthoods did what, you know.
mm,
But we got to be able to read it as that, or we're not
right,
going to have no frame of reference of what are they talking about? What is this dealing with? You know.
right,
So that's one of the things we attempt to do in knowledge of the Noma. And then that fourth epoch
right.
from Ta Marie to Ta Ganet, because we know
Targanet.
Ta Ganet. Ta
So if
Ganet
that's
is the epoch that we know of historically as Ghana, Mali, and Songhai. These
okay, is
kings.
that considered the new kingdom?
No, this is after the New Kingdom. The New Kingdom is a part of Ta Marie.
Okay,
You had the Old Kingdom,
intermediate,
First Intermediate Period, Middle Kingdom, Second Intermediate Period, and then a New
and then
Kingdom,
the new kingdom. Right.
right? So, no, after the fall of the New Kingdom, the Nile Valley was run through by foreign invaders, successive foreign invaders.
From the east.
Assyria,
Right.
Babylon, Greece, Rome. And these invaders were coming in from the north and the east. So
Right.
where did the indigenous of the Nile Valley flee? South
The
and west.
south and the west.
So some ended up in the Congo River basin. Most of them we would know of as
Niger.
Bantu speakers, right?
Right.
Then many ended up in the Niger River basin.
In the
Most
Niger River.
of them
Okay.
were Mandi speakers, the Dogon being one of them, right?
Right.
But then what happened in the era or the epoch of Taganet? The rise and advent of Islam that was
Mm,
involved with forced conversions
right. By the sword.
in the Niger River basin, right? So different Dogon elders had to flee the Niger and
Right.
go up into the barren, deserted, off the beaten track path in the bush of the Sahara so that they
Mm,
could retain their teachings. Like
right.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Where'd they find Obi-Wan
In the
in Star
swamp.
Wars? He was
Right.
in that. He was like out in
He was
what's that?
out. Yeah.
Taptuni.
Oh
He was
yeah. He
out
was.
in like a
Yeah.
little
He
desert
was in the
cave,
desert.
right?
Yeah. He was tucked out.
Because he couldn't be. What was that? He couldn't be in Corsica. He couldn't
Right.
be where the flow of
Because they had the
trade and
Inquisition.
information was.
Right.
Why? Because the Jedi was
Mm-hmm.
every time, brethren.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Just like in that Star Wars story, right? Obi-Wan had to flee.
Right. Persecution.
Same way with the Dogon. That's how they ended up in modern day Mali. So
Right.
in their ancestral history, Mali's a small chapter,
Of
you
it,
know?
right.
And they tell us all of this. They tell,
Mhm.
you know, that's one of the things, like the serious mystery, it ain't no mystery. What them
Right.
call the serious mystery, like how the Dogon find, all we really got to do is not use the prejudged. I see they jamming us up. I see they
What?
jamming us up. I hope you hear me.
I hear you loud and clear.
The prejudged, stereotypical
Mhm.
interpretations of African culture, and
Right.
listen to what they say.
Yeah, you gotta
Most
throw that out.
cosmologies, most indigenous cosmologies, and we can use the Bible as an example, right? Just because it follows this pattern too.
Right.
It'll have like a in the beginning where it talks about the Most High creating the cosmological reality, the visible universe
Right.
from nothing to something.
From nothing to something.
Then there'll
Right.
be another.
Whoa. Okay. They messing with the God signal. No worries. Ross will be back as soon as he gets his signal. So he dropping it though. Put some emojis in the chat room. The brother is going in. I could understand how the Poindexters at up there in the upper offices would feel and whatnot, and would push the button too, because the God is definitely bending the spoon, but he's really just getting warmed up. So it's definitely about to get turned up. Make sure you get your pens and pads on deck. Uh, take this. Remember, this information, is very, very powerful and is very vital. Once again, for all of my creatives out there, I highly recommend that y'all put some type of creative energy towards telling this story. We live in a day and age of DALL-E 3, Mid-Journey, Claude 2, Chat GPT, Mistral, and a whole bunch of other intelligent machine. Do something with this information, teach the babies and whatnot, and also teach the people, because the babies is just everybody that doesn't know the stories. There we go.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
waited. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was the
yeah.
first
Every
try.
time, yo, it
Nah,
wouldn't,
listen, hold
it
on.
wouldn't be a RAS BEN.
Hey, it wouldn't be a classic if the shit didn't drop. It's just level 1. We in a video game. It's
Right.
supposed to drop. You going in. Now I'm talking about
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's the new version of the bomb, because my sound effect machine.
Yeah, they coming
Yeah.
again with it.
Right. So you good, man. Keep going up. Like
All
I
right.
said,
So,
mhm.
but like I was saying, with most cosmologies, they'll start
Yes.
with an in the beginning, right?
Mhm.
Like somehow like God makes,
A
the
thought. He has a thought. He thinks the universe
the
into
Most
existence.
High will make the visible cosmos something out of nothing.
Right.
Then you'll have another layer of the of creation, kind of like Earth solar system, sun, moon, and clouds, right?
Right. Like the layers.
Then you'll have a listing of the ancestors,
Right.
right? Like in the Bible, from Adam to Ashkenaz, or Adam to Shem, or whoever, right? And the Dogon are no different.
Right.
Their cosmology is the same way. They started in the beginning.
Right.
And I don't know if they start with in the beginning, and then they lead all the way up to the ancestors that they record, leading them out of the Niger River basin up into, what's modern day Mali. So all we have to do is believe them and listen, listen to them and give them our unbiased ears, and they tell us who they are. It ain't no mystery. And like I said, they record the battles of Kemet. They just do it in a mythological drama, not a linear list of pharaohs. They also record the geochronology of the Sahara Desert, very much like, you know, the team they came from in Kemet did, which were the Thebans. And I'm not going to get all into that tonight. We're going to save that dimension for the class. But, you know, we don't want to just say like, oh, the Dogon came from Kemet, because there was opposing teams. There were polarized teams, polarized camps in Kemet. You know, so what team did the Dogon represent? That would be the Thebans. And that's very important.
From Thebes.
The ones from Thebes. The Thebes is the Greek name. I know some are saying, why are you using that name, Ross? I'm using it because it is the name this temple complex is most known as. It had two Greek names, Greco-Roman names, Thebes and Luxor. The word luxurious and luxury come from this temple complex. In Kemet, it was known as Ipet Isut, which means like most holy of places, most sacred of places. It was also known as Waset, which would kind of translate as place we go to drink knowledge, or place we go to school where we learn sacred teachings, you know?
Right.
So the Dogon preserved two, because like I said, Thebes is really a temple complex where there were temples for a lot of different netters within kind of like what would be a city, right? And they preserved two temple teachings there specifically. One is what is known historically as the Kansu cosmogony. That is the script that has been translated off the meta nature of the Temple of Kansu, right? The other is the teachings of Tahuti that were preserved at what is called the temple, in Greek is called the Temple of Hermopolis, right? But like I said, it was the Temple of Tahuti. And that's what Dogon cosmology really is. It's the teachings. And it's one thing for me to say that.
Right.
All right. You know, but hey, when you take a paragraph out of the Kansu cosmogony and line it up with the teachings of one of the Hogan, Ogo Tameli, and see, this man is a griot who, that intergenerational transmission of the word, this man has preserved the same teachings that were scribed on this temple of Kansu, right? So that's what we got, knowledge of the Nomo. And that's what we're gonna go in depth on, and when we do this class, you know, like we, you know, when because that was one of my goals, was because this is something else we didn't talk about. If I can build on this real quick.
Of course you can. Go in.
All right. How do we get these two crucially important publications? The Pale Fox and Conversations with Ogo Tameli.
Right.
Two forces, the momentum of two different forces and two different cultural realities converging.
Right.
One side was the French, who Mali was one of their colonies, right?
Right.
The advent of Islam, colonization did not stop Islam from converting mugs.
Right.
In Africa, you know?
Right.
So the French colonizers, looking at the momentum that was going on, they were like, man, if we don't do something, the pre-Islamic mind of Mandi speakers in our
Right.
colonies, we're going to lose all of that.
We're gonna
Right.
lose them. Right.
So we know our track record. This made the French self-aware. They were like, we kind of know our track record. We know how our anthropological cross-cultural research usually goes.
Right.
Go in with a Western stereotypical perspective that if we don't check it, it's going to taint
Mm.
what these people know.
Right.
And we won't really get the
Full.
fullness of what they have to share.
Right. Right.
Two anthropologists who are known as Griot and Ditterling. You know, they spent over a decade with the Dogon
At their feet. Right.
at their feet on
Like
their
the Greeks
humble.
did.
And they attempted to be as transparent as possible. Just actually, to the best of their ability, record what the Dogon said in their own words. The other momentum that I think is more kind of more relevant for us, right? The Hogan, high priest, the council of the Hogan, who are like they're the priestly order in the Dogon community,
Right.
And yo, they got to go through mad initiation, brethren, for
Mm.
them to get their information.
Right.
The initiations ain't easy. They got this stone that gives them the custodian, like being custodian of this stone is called a Dagwe stone. It's
Mm.
what gives them the authority to sit in on the Hogan Council and officiate the ceremonies and the rituals and the works that these high priests do, right?
Right.
The way they get this stone, them have totems, right? Because there's 8 ancestral clans in the Dogon society.
Okay.
Each of them ancestral clans have a totem animal,
Right.
right? When an elder Hogan, he feels his days of service is done. He's about to wrap it up. He's not going to be the Hogan no more, right?
Right.
He'll give the Dagwe stone to its totem animal. And that animal will take it somewhere deep into the bush or the desert and hide it.
Mm.
How do you become the next Hogan? What? You got to put yourself in that position where the totem will lead you to the Dagwe stone.
Wow.
And that's just one of the more, that's just like, an example. That's not the only
Right.
thing. That's not the only thing you got to do, but it's an example.
Of initiation. Right.
Yeah, man, this thing, and it's, a decades long. A Hogan is prepared over rites of passage and initiations over decades, This ain't
Yes.
nothing, because to be custodian of these teachings, like I said, this thing goes back to Kemet. This thing goes back to Ipet Isut. This place goes back to Waset, right? So the initiations are designed so that once you're given custodianship of these teachings, you won't corrupt them.
Right.
And they won't corrupt you.
Right. Important.
Okay? Yeah.
Right. Very important.
So, with all of that being said, the Hogan Council decided, guess what? it's time to drop all the tapes.
Right.
It's time to
Open up the rhyme books.
It's time. And they dropped all the tapes.
They dropped them.
Not only to an uninitiated,
right,
but an uninitiated foreigner.
Yeah. What the heck? What's that about?
What's that about?
That's a double negative.
Why do I think? Why did they do that?
Yeah.
Because they knew it was going to eventually end up
in the
hands of a man like the Red Pillar and the Blue Pillar. And your audience.
Right.
Because that's the one thing I was saying to Nicholas, like, because, like, you know, this thing, I published this book in 21, right?
Right.
But it was the middle of the pandemic. And then, you know, like many in your community might know, in 22, you know, I lost one of my youth.
Yes.
And that thing, you know.
Yeah, I heard.
What's that song? What's that song? Crane in the Sky.
Mm-hmm.
Crane in the sky. Trying to smoke it away and drink it away and sleep it away.
Right.
I wasn't my best self.
Right.
I wasn't accessible. And I wasn't in a position to really talk about no Dogon. You know?
Yes. You were going through the dark night of the soul.
There you go.
You know?
So now I'm at a point where I can, you know, all right. And then what? Cafunia Star Rebel and Ankh Rising Sun.
Shout out to
Come on now.
Uncle Hank. You know what I'm talking
about?
Come
on now.
Shout out to Cafunia.
Yeah. Bless me with this up there. You see it?
Look,
come on.
I'm telling you.
You know?
We're
so
making
they was
like,
come on up here, Ross. And now post Nicholas, this is why I'm bringing this up.
Yes.
I see why now. I see why everything happened the way it did. Because you know what? It was supposed to, this thing was like, I have done a little bit on it, but not like really, right?
Right.
But the launch for like, all right, we bounce forward. We ready for this thing. It had to happen at Nicholas. Why? Because the community up there, like, you know, there was already ones who had decoded the Pale Fox. There was already ones up in there that knew Kemetic history and was grounded in that reality. There was ones who could correspond Dogon science with things found, teachings found in the Americas. And it was such a convergence. And I will say, most of it is documented on Ankh Rising Sun's YouTube channel, Magnets, Crystals, and Pyramids. So if you want to check it, you know.
Aikita, can you do me a favor? No, I'll do it. I'll drop the link in the chat. So look out, y'all. I'm gonna drop the link for Uncle Hank's video with from Saturn Day.
And you'll get a good taste of what we're gonna go in on. We're gonna when we do this Zoom session. This is the thing. This is something. When they see the video on Uncle Ankh's, they'll know what I'm talking about, where the responsibility's on us.
Yes.
Do this work. I don't think the Dogon's intention for dropping the tapes, that's what I'm saying, man. They did something like, imagine you had to go through X number of decades of blood, sweat, and tear to earn the opportunity to be a custodian of sacred teaching. And then someone other than yourself say, yeah, man, it's time to drop the tape. Would you do it?
Man.
Or you know, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I put myself in that position. I don't know. But
let me get this clear.
Yes.
What you're saying is the authors of the books, The Pale Fox, that's the dropping of the tape
with Ogo Tamela.
Right. That's the dropping of
the Hogan high priest.
Right.
Shared their what them called Sotani.
Sotani.
Sotani. which
Mm-hmm.
means the astonishing word.
Ooh.
Okay, the astonishing word. Like, in other words, yo, we're dropping the deepest shit. We dropping our deepest mysteries on you,
Ooh.
Griot and Ditcherling, you two foreign anthropologists.
Right.
All right,
We're
so
gonna hit y'all with the Bolita.
them drop the so tiny, them drop the astonishing word. Like when you hear this shit, you just gonna be like, you know, blown away. This is what them dropped on these boys. Why? And then the more, like, let's say we want to call the researchers that followed Griot and Ditcherling, like Robert Temple and
Right.
all these other Western Eurocentric
Euros. Right.
researchers. They played them. They played the Dogon, trying to coming up with theories like the Greek Argonauts.
Right.
And,
Yeah, came amongst them.
yeah, just just
Trying to discredit them like they do.
discredit them. Like,
Come
you
up,
know,
them on
these
them, come up.
niggas in the bush of the Sahara couldn't really know this without us somehow being the source, right? So they didn't drop the tapes. They didn't share so tani. They didn't share the astonishing word to be ridiculed and minimized. They dropped it for ones like us who have and the ones like in Nicholas. That's Saturn's day.
Master student.
When if we're given the keys to decode, right, we'll be able to number one, disseminate it with humanity, because I think that's one of the reasons why they shared it. And also, too, so we can know what time it is.
Right.
And know where we're at in space. Not just we know, if I want to be clearer, know what space time it is.
What space time it is.
What space time it is.
Ooh, I like that. That's
that's what.
That's saucy right there. Space time. Make the mic fall.
Yeah. So that's what we gonna get into. We might even want to dub that. I know you asked me for a title. Maybe the intent should be called the Sotani, the astonishing word, because we're gonna go in. And like you say, we'll set up a discount code so those that join the class can get a book discounted. And
we definitely gonna get them the books discounted. We're gonna make sure that everybody who's a student walks away with a signed book, right?
Yes.
Because this is about definitely.
And then, but guess what? What? If you participate in this, I think it's going to come with a responsibility.
It is
a small instrument playing your part, helping with the decoding and the dissemination of these Dogon teachings for humanity.
For humanity.
So be ready. Be ready.
Right. We will have homework every week. Okay. We will have homework every week. And we also will have two things that I'm going to introduce to this Patreon class. One is assignments and the other is a bonus, right? Now, the bonus, I'm going to open up with that because this is a reward system, a part of our upper tier that we're going to roll out. I'm integrating my AI classes that I'm teaching, the 4-week course on AI, right? With the 4-week course that I'm doing with RAS BEN. This is my AI course that I'm doing, 4-week masterclass. I started it on Sunday, and this is RAS BEN's class that we're starting on Wednesday. So for the bonus, what I'm offering is a prize for any student that's in my AI class that knows how to use Midjourney, DALL-E 3, or any of the AI art generators, and also knows how to use ChatGPT or any one of those quote unquote large language models. What we're going to do is we're going to take the bonus assignment and translate all of this Dogon information that RAS BEN is going to be giving us in class. And we're going to make graphic novels. We're going to make runway ML video, text to video animation and whatnot. We're going to make it to as we'll make digital assets, and we'll also make ebooks for children. So that's the bonus assignment. And for the people who get rewarded to be a part of that, or if you know, whoever comes with the assignment, you will be definitely compensated, and you'll you know, you're going to be rewarded for that. So yes, indeed, you know, it's time to take this information and utilize it in a more interactive way, but to emboss it upon, because you learn more by doing things. We learn when we put our minds to something. We learn when we create from something. So this is source material in which to build from. And RAS Ben is the master teacher, so he's the master source, a source of wisdom, a source of data, a source of research, a source of research. So we're going in this whole month. The October Scorpion season is here. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, for all of my KT aliens, October is special. So this whole month we going up. We're gonna close out the fourth quarter on a high level, on a very high level. You know what I'm talking about? On a very high level. So we're beginning that with these classes, and you want the bundle, right? Okay, we'll have a bundle for you with all of the
We'll have a
books.
bundle. Yeah,
We'll have a
absolutely.
bundle for you with all of the books.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do that.
Yeah, say that.
Honors.
Mhm.
Thank you,
Yes,
KTL.
indeed.
Yo, y'all have
How
been
long? How far back we go, Ross?
I remember, what's that Blog Talk?
Blog Talk
That was
Radio, the
the
first
technology.
podcast
We
platform.
started on Blog Talk,
You
bro.
feel me? Wait,
Yeah,
what year was that?
Had to be what, like 08 maybe? Brethren, I tell you, you know
It's
what?
either 08 or 09 that we linked up, because that's them early Philly days. That's that. You know, if there's a golden era, if there's ever a golden era in consciousness,
Yes.
08 is around. It was definitely in the 08 was in there. 08 and 09 was very instrument. Like
I can remember the first day I met y'all. Right? We wasn't
Talk
doing
about it.
nothing
That's an
at that
NFT.
point, but we was in Harlem.
Right.
California invited, I think it was King Simon event. He was giving awards, and I think Hawk and Black and Nobel were receiving an award that year. And California invited me up to vend, right?
Yes.
And y'all were vending there. And I don't,
Always.
what you say, I don't want to sound like a groupie and no shit, but I'm not gonna lie. When I saw y'all two,
right,
y'all had an aura, man. You did. You had a glow on you where I was like, who are these brethren? You know, and I could tell you were twins, and y'all, I think y'all were pushing your gold, the monatomic gold. And like some,
it was called something else back then.
Yeah.
Soul Gold.
Yeah, it was something.
Soul Gold water.
Yes.
And Blue had the Seven Heaven Sea Moss.
Seven Heaven Sea Moss. Yes.
That was the
And
beginning.
that's what I hollered at y'all. I got me like 3 or 4 sea moss. Right. And then someone introduced us. Maybe it was even California or Ankh.
Right.
You know, this was like one of my first introductions to that New York scene. Because even too, that was early debate time, because the other boy was up there. What's his name?
Is that Sarah Sutton?
Nah. Brethren that would organize the debates.
Sarnetta. Right.
Sarnetta. All of them was up.
Right. See, we need an author of your caliber to tell that story of that time, because that is the greatest story never
Yet to
told.
been told.
Yet
Yeah,
to been
yeah,
told.
yeah.
That has that story is one of the most important stories, you know. And what I'm talking about is the story of just Harlem, or I won't even say Harlem, consciousness.
Yes.
Because it took the person who shook the whole thing up he wasn't even from New York. He's from Detroit.
And who was that?
That was Seti.
Sarah Suit Seti.
Yes. That's the one that shook the chessboard. You know, he won that shook the chessboard. He wasn't even from New York. So even when you study ancient empires and dynasties and whatnot, and you talk about attacks from the east and the south and things of that nature from other quote unquote lands, it plays out in all timelines. It doesn't stop. It never stopped. It was happening with the Moors. It happened in Kemet. It happened everywhere that we. All of these timelines are convergence, you know, and we're just different variants of timelines. But I definitely know when I met you that we already met on many different timelines before already.
Because if I remember correctly, we bartered the 7 Seas sea moss for our rocks of ages.
Right.
I remember correctly. So that
and it was up from there.
It was up from there. Yeah.
Ooh, it was up from there. Because once we cracked that open, it was up. And Blue was on his crystal. He was on his crystal. We called him crystal meth. He used to wear. He was coming through with the equivalent of what Slick Rick does with trunk jewelry.
Right.
He was doing that with the crystal.
Crystalled out.
I'm talking about son was super heavy. You know, I was too cool for all of that at that point.
Right.
But then
I like modest pieces. This right here is about as outrageous as I'll get, man.
Oh no, I got very outrageous. It just took me a minute though. You know what I'm talking about? I got super outrageous. Especially, look, Majade. Let me go. I can just say that name, Majade, bro.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm about to show
already.
you.
I know.
Like, I don't even think people understand just how important certain things was. Like, I've still got it. I still got, but this is a talisman, y'all. Like, if this thing could talk right here, the amount of energy that's already absorbed in this is a relic from an era where this had millions of impressions around the world. You feel me? There's one little piece, but I know the power of the mineral kingdom and how this shit absorbs energy and all kind of stuff.
Right.
I could open a portal with this. You know, like I put in real work with this particular talisman right here. And when the sister gave it to me, yo, these crystals changed my whole life. They really made me tap into superpowers that I knew that I had, but the crystals, you know, it wouldn't have activated without me adorning certain crystals. But I wouldn't know how to put them together if it wasn't for rocks of all ages. I would have just been throwing shit on.
Well,
but you gave me mad formulas, bro. I promise you. I promise you. Before we continue, I want to still ask you something about the Dogon, because I got you know, there's some names that I'm in love with right now. Just the whole language of the Dogon and saying words that the Dogons use to activate certain DNA and whatnot. I'm glad that we got the book now so we could get more into that. But Sigitolo, because I'm into polo. When I read Sigitolo, I was like, that's fly. Like I could get with that. You know what I'm talking about? And then Po Tolo and Po Pailu. I'm like, yeah.
Those are the names. Those are the names of that the Dogon attribute to 3 stars. You know,
Three. Yeah,
Western
three.
science has only been able to verify two.
Two. Right.
But the Dogon say there's 3 stars that the Sirius star system is a trinary star system.
Mm.
And Sirius is a very important star, just, you know, it's the second closest stellar system to our solar system, right?
Wow. Okay.
And one of those stars is a dark star,
Right.
Sirius B, what the Dogon call Potolo. And you know, dark stars they're more, even though they're more smaller, they have less volume,
Right.
but they're more dense and they have
Dense.
greater weight.
Right. Right.
So they have a greater impact on the fabric of space-time.
Right.
And neighboring celestial bodies will tend to orbit around them, right?
Mm. Right.
So you factor all that in, and this, you know, the Dogons say this in detail, right? The Sirius star system is, or Potolo specifically, is the axis of the world. It's the axis that everything in our quadrant of space-time orbits
Space-time.
around, you know?
Right.
But Sigitolo is Sirius A, is the visible star Sirius, which is the 5th brightest object in our heavens after the sun, moon, Venus, Jupiter, which are all, you know, luminaries or planets within our system, right?
Right.
The next brightest object is Sirius,
Dope.
right? So, and again, that's because it's so close. It's not
Right.
the closest star. There's a star called Proxima A. But we can't see Proxima A in the northern hemisphere. You got to be below the equator
Okay. To see
observe
Proxima.
Proxima A. And even though it's closer, it's not as, it doesn't burn as intense, so it's not as bright
Right.
as Sirius, right? So Sigitolo means star, like that's like the visible proof of the sacrifice.
Visible proof of the sacrifice. Wow.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I'm not going to get all super deep into what that means, other than to say if Sigitolo wasn't there,
Right.
the Sirius B and Sirius C would be invisible, right?
Right.
So and the way those 3 stars came together,
Right.
it was a disruption of, I guess, what we would call the proto-Sirius system.
The proto-Sirius system.
Right. The Sirius system before Sirius A was joined to it, right? And because that proto-Sirius system was kind of like dismantled, that's what the Dogon call that sacrifice, you know?
Right.
And to be honest, because Potolo is much older, it's an older star. Dark stars are much older.
Right.
They go through their whole cycle of hydrogen fusion, like how our sun is burning now and how Sirius A or Sigitolo is burning now, right? I know I said I wasn't going to get all in it, but I'm just
you good?
Real quick. The proto-Sirius system were 2 stars of the same age.
Right.
Sirius B and another star that the Dogon called Po-Pilu.
Po-Pilu.
Po-Pilu, like, and this proto-Sirius system was, like what the Dogon would say, sacrificed
Mm-hmm.
to keep our sun from going off course. Our son was on a improper course,
Right.
right? A rebellious course.
Right.
It was on its way out of the community of the galaxy.
Right.
And so Po Pilu was attached to our star system
Okay.
to keep our sun within the Sirius, like I said,
Orbit.
within the Sirius orbit.
Right.
Okay. And what do we know that as today? What everybody been talking about?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what is it?
Planet. Is that Planet X?
Planet X, Nibiru.
Nibiru.
So the Dogons say if
Nibiru.
we decode this thing proper,
Right.
right? A lot of the mysteries we have today, right,
Mm-hmm.
will be answered. It ain't no mystery. Why did the Nazis
Right.
do a whole bunch of study and research about the North Pole and Norse mythology and created that Thule Society, which is all about studying those cosmologies of the North Pole, but then ultimately, allegedly, right, set up underground bases in Antarctica, in the South Pole,
In the South, right?
and supposedly found alien craft.
Right. Advanced
They're gonna break
technology.
all that down, man.
Okay.
They break it all down.
Okay.
They break all that shit down.
Right.
You
So
know?
the Dogon knows about that.
They know
incident?
all about all of that, man.
Wow.
They know all about, you know, they
Right.
know all about that, man. You know, if we're able to decode it,
That's right.
you know, and know what they talking about. So, which ain't easy.
Right.
I'm sure if
So-
any of y'all listeners out there have attempted to read The Pale Fox, they're gonna really appreciate love, knowledge of the Nomo, because that Pale Fox ain't easy,
Right.
you know.
Right. Right. Somebody in the chat was asking about where to sign up for the classes. You see the ticker right here. It says Patreon Red Pillar, and I also dropped a link in the chat. Give me 1 second. All right. But yeah.
I'm glad you got your channel forward too, Star.
Oh yeah, we riding this thing. We're gonna turn this thing up. This is a new season that we here, and we have some real big surprises for our audience in terms of just, great content that's gonna be delivered. But this month right here, this October, I'm very excited. I'm hyped for this month. It's a good way to close out. They say it's not how you start the race, it's how you finish it, right? We started the first quarter together with the predictions. If we were like financial gurus, me and you, if we were like stock market dudes or like, financial we would be lit right now. Like, how's everybody's portfolio looking? Because things that you were talking about in January that you were predicting when we did quantum quickening with you, and then we did another show with you talking about the quote unquote Philadelphia experiment, right? And the Montauk Project. And now, fast forward, we have activity coming out of CERN. We also have activity coming from where was the other place that they said maybe a portal opened? A portal was open. There's a lot of things going on that just make me, that you could probably use your bingo card to pick which one is a situation that could show us that that prediction has come true this
Mm.
year in 2023.
Ashe.
You know, whether it's
And
contact. I'm sorry, go ahead.
nah, that whole quantum quickening and this AI thing is you know, and the timeline manipulation.
Right.
23, like, and even how they got this AI thing now where what is going to be our reality when they start flooding the world with AI generated RAS Bens and red pillars and Kanye West's and
That's coming this year. That's gonna be 24.
Oh man.
They call it.
I don't think right now at 3/4 into the year, like we've seen these changes, we've seen these things introduced. Like I just saw a clip about these AI robots at a football game, you know?
Right. It was a movie with Denzel's son in it, and it just came out called The Creator. It's a must-see movie. That's where the scene is from, and it explores it. It explores that concept in a very updated, modernized way.
So that thing didn't really happen. That was a movie scene.
Yeah, called The Creator, and Denzel's son is the star of that. You know, Hollywood
That's what we
is
just talking about. You see some shit, you don't know if it's real or not.
But this is the last look. This is the last year of quote unquote man, right? And that's not, and it's all in the language because it doesn't mean anybody is going anywhere. But this is going to go on record as the last year that man is officially on this planet as by himself,
not a cyborg and shit.
Right. So we're going into the last days of man, which Friedrich Nietzsche wrote about. They predicted this. This is going into the age of the Ubermensch or the Ubermensch, which is Superman. We're going into the era of Superman, and that is their manifest destiny. And if anybody has any doubt on that, like I said, tap in with the AI classes and just go do some of the research that we already laid down and behold the pale-faced horseman when we broke down Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Zuckerberg, and Horowitz. Those are the tech. We talking about trillionaire people who have trillions of dollars in assets. They have venture capitalists that are all made boom time money, like equivalent to the goddamn gold rush. That's what they've been making it say. So these are all self-avowed atheists and transhumanists that follow the works of Ray Kurzweil and other humanists who are the main purpose is to usher this thing into certain epochs, right? Same epoch that we talk about in the dynasties. They're going through they want
a new epoch.
Right. They're going through their epochs. So they're in alignment with Aquarian age too. They like shit. We lining our AI, robotic, artificial. This is the antichrist that they're creating through AI or whatnot, or through this artificial thing. They are creating Skynet. If it hasn't been created, they are creating the Ultron. They basically showed you what it's going to be. They showed you in the Matrix, Machine City. So we're in the beginning throes of that era. However, we are still in an opportune time where we could command and we could yield and we could wield as much power as we are perceived that may be wielded against us, because it's not being wielded against us at the moment. The rollout of the tools, it's almost like they're opening up Ace Hardware store and they're telling everybody you don't gotta riot and loot it. You could come in here for free and just pick up a tool and use it. That's where it's at right now. So the tool shed is wide open, and there's 100,000 tools that could really break shit. We could disrupt things overnight. We could literally shift the paradigm with the tools, and they're free. But because we don't understand what that means, and they basically spooked us, people are scared to go in the tool shed. There's a bunch of Indians, Africans, Asians, and Europeans running havoc in it, going and they doing all kind of shit. It's like, you know, like a free for all, and our people are standing outside, either being security or we scared to go in there.
Mm.
That's why the Patreon class is important, so
Mm.
we could break these spells, because I'm riding out Q4 like Shorty who took her weave off or her wig off and took off. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Shakari.
Yeah, I'm running through Q4 like Shakari. I'm closing this bitch out. I'm gonna close 23 out on a record book, because it's still important to get your name stamped and time stamped that you was active in this space before 2024 comes.
Mm.
You got to stamp yourself that you're what you was doing in 23 when it was the AI boom. I was telling my people how to rock that shit. That's what I was doing. Here's my 3 books. Here's my 4 courses. Here's my proof of work.
Right.
So I'm telling people proof of work is worth more than a resume right now. They're not understanding me. I'm telling people go get certified and whatnot. You could go online and take these courses and get lit. Some people are listening, but more people need to hear what's going on, because you're being distracted by some debilitating, low frequency, bottom feeder, toxic, you know, it's a far removal from the frequencies that brother master teacher Ras Ben remembers in the early days, and what I'm used to in the blog talk days in the early, you know, this is a whole nother frequency right here with this new world that we're in.
Yes.
But we working through it. And, you know, we're going to be here to do what needs to be done. And because this work is ready for the community, it is my duty to spread the word like I spread the word 2009 when I had the Rocks of Ages. So the word got to get out. Our people need to be activated with this Dogon energy, with these Dogon prophecies, with this information. Where do we put Credo Mutua in the conversation?
Well, I go in on this on the video, the recording of Nicholas.
Yes.
Credo is not a Mandi speaker. Zulu are Bantu, right? And I think we could say Bantu speakers, they all share a common cosmological reference point.
Yes.
Mande speakers, they share a common cosmological reference point. And there's overlap between the two, but they are distinct and different. Okay.
Right.
But Credo did something that was very similar to what the Hogan did. And as we know, he was a Sangoma, right? Who went through crazy initiations to learn these sacred teachings and cosmology of the Zulu, right?
Yes.
And something inspired him to drop the tapes. He did the same thing the Hogan did.
Right.
Teachings that he had to go through decades of rites of passage and initiation to earn the opportunity to be a custodian of it, right? He felt it was time to share freely. And the most important work of that nature is a book called Indaba My Children. It's a very long book. It's over 800 pages. But it's similar to the Pale Fox and Conversations of Ogo Tameli, where, yeah, man, he drops all of the Zulu teachings, shamanistic teachings, Sangoma teachings.
Right.
And you got to know, some of his boys, they didn't check for that.
Right.
You know, he got a lot of
remember.
resistance from.
He got big resistance, I heard.
He got some resistance from other Sangoma and other Zulu culture keepers for dropping the tape.
And
you know, it came at personal sacrifice. And so, if you value Credo's teachings,
Yes.
yeah, you got to know, like, it ain't come easy for him to share them.
Right.
And I know a lot of people focus on his work with David Icke.
A
But he
lot,
dropped
because
the
that's
tape.
where they was.
Yeah, he dropped the tapes before David Icke. What David Icke did was put it.
Mainstreamed them. See, I told you Ross going in. You know what I'm talking about? This is level 2 now. Boss level. You know? We on level 2. I remember when the Credo Mutua tapes dropped though. That shit shook the world. It shook the world that was into it that time. You know? No internet. That was pre-internet days. That was VHS. I don't even think that was DVD days. That was VHS days. You know? So that tape was going around and people was getting their minds blown because we never heard no information from an African that was tying in the mysticism and the ancient mysteries in such a way. Like Credo had dudes lit. Yeah, that's the VHS. That's the fuzzy content days, right? That's NBA 2K, right? That wasn't even HD.
Mm.
But I was saying the Credo with the Credo Mutual tapes, what Ike did is he put them, it's like he commercialized them. He signed, that was almost like, when Jay-Z and them signed to Def Jam. That was that
Right.
type of stamp. Like
Right.
David Ike made it look like Credo got signed to the label.
Right.
Because and when people hear that, they'll be like, what Red Pill talking about? Once again, when the documentary is put together, you'll see I'm adding context to, I'm trying to bring you into an environment, because environment sets the stage for everything. And that's why I love your teachings, especially the book on about the mounds and whatnot, RAS BEN, because you create environment with your literature. You build the environment out. It's like you're a programmer with the Unreal Engine. You'll build out the world first. So you take us back into time, which is important because even 10 years ago, the world was not what it is today. So you have to add context to the time period that you speak of and what things were like, because I lived long enough to know that has a lot to do with why things were going the way that they were going, why they were accepted and why they weren't. People always add their modern day context of what their perceptive reality is and attribute that to every single thing on every continent at every single time period of every single procession of the equinox. And I'm like, no, that's not how that works.
Yes.
It's not how that works.
Star.
So yes, Star, I appreciate you, man. I know we had a very powerful conversation. We just getting started with it. I'm very excited. I'm enthusiastic. As you can see, I'm loaded up. You know what I mean? I'm loading this up because I know how to use my AI the right way. I could take a picture now. Yeah, because ChatGPT got eyes. So I could take a picture with my phone of this page and upload it right into ChatGPT 4. And I could create a whole, if I wanted to, I could create a book. I could create a novel. I could create a lesson. I could create anything that I want with just notes right now. That's where we at in the procession of the equinox. And that's just where we're at. Because in the first, but remember, look, in the class that I just did about introduction to artificial intelligence, I had to show people that artificial intelligence has always been here. People are not realizing there's always been stories in mythology about artificial intelligence.
Right.
We're just looking at computers and whatnot, but they've always had Greek mythology. You know what I'm talking about? The Greeks talked about what was one of Talos, right? Which was like a bronze giant that you seen
Right.
in Clash of the Titans movie. The Jews have the golem.
Right. And even that's the name of one of them
Of the one
AI
of the machines, right? Of course,
Gollum and
yeah,
shit. Yeah.
yeah. In Egypt and Kemet, you got Ptah, and he has
Right.
the Ankh. So
Right.
the Ankh brings things. Yeah, you got Pandora with the Romans.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Pandora's box. You're right.
Pandora's box. So the Native Americans got the corn husk dolls. You got the Kachinas. You know what I'm talking about? And all of the creation myths, they breathe life into clay. So an inanimate object gets life put into it, it becomes animated and whatnot. So we're in our modern day version of them animating inanimate objects. This time it's metal, it's machines, and it's light,
Right.
it's electric.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's nothing to trip about. We're just going through the processions, y'all. This is the way that we timestamp where we are in the procession. Because if I say beeper and cell phone, you know what station and time that I'm speaking of. You said it. You called it. What was the time you said space time? So as humans in this existence, we could basically space time is being done through technology. Yo, when Nintendo first dropped, I was one of the first people. I had Gyromite and Duck Hunt. Somebody could hear that and put me into space time right there. Nigga was born in the 80s.
Right.
He's talking about the 80s because that's when that happened. Yo, when 50 years of hip hop came through and I was at that concert in the Bronx at Yankee Stadium, I got an autograph by Nas. Oh, he's talking about 2023. Yo, when the Google, when Apple dropped when they dropped the VR glasses and we was able to time travel, they know what you're talking about because of the technology.
True.
We had black and white TVs. I know what they're talking about. There was a time when there was no TVs. I know what you're talking about. So technology is nothing to run away from. Remember, Heka, it's an Egyptian concept. This starts right here. Nothing creates itself. It's just all mental problem solving. We're engineers. We build things. We problem solve. We're architects. We use sacred geometry, like the Nomos say. We take information and we build on it. So the proof of technology is just the proof of, I'm into, of course, organic technology. Of course, we say that before anything, because this is not, if I pour water on this, if a computer or if any of this interacts with the four elements, they cease to work or they cease to exist. That's their kryptonite. So that alone tells you it's not real. It's not natural. Right. You put these things in the sun too long. If you on the phone, you could be on the phone and just have it on the damn patio and it will conk out. So that automatically cancels this out. This is not real. This is man-made. This is synthetic. This is the matrix. You feel me? This ain't it. There's an organic technology though. There's an elemental technology. There's a technology in these minerals, in these crystals and whatnot. There's technology in amethyst, diamonds, carbon, all of these things. The quartz, that's why they're inside of all of the technology, because they're conduits. So I'm gonna land my plane right there, my brother.
All right, Star. Yo, keep shining. I'm looking forward for this class, and steady on your good work, Star.
Man, no choice. Likewise to you too. It's great to see you outside. You know what I'm talking about? And we're gonna make it worth your while. I know the students are gonna show up in mass to learn and to build with us, because like I say, we got assignments with these classes. This ain't just no regular. We are going to put people to test so we could learn through our experience. Once you do something, it's now ingrained, and not just in your brain, in your mind, it's ingrained in everything. So yeah, let's build.
All right,
King.
Respect. Much love.
Respect. Yes. One. All right. Yeah, man. So shout out to RAS BEN. Make sure y'all sign up for the class. The link is right here. Patreon, Red Pillar. The level is Citrine. Okay, the level is Citrine. That will get you into 4 classes, right? If you just want 1 class, all you got to do is hit me on the inbox and let me know. But I suggest you sign up for the whole month. Come and rock out. 1 sign up for Citrine, you get me for 4 weeks, and you get Brother RAS BEN. Matter of fact, let's go over to the Patreon real quick before we get out of here and show you what it looked like and whatnot and what you are in for. So this is the memberships that we have on the Patreon, right? These are the membership. It goes up to the Citrine membership. Okay, that will get you access to everything that you need right there for the 4 classes. You dig? And let's go to the collections. All right, these are this will get you access to these classes as well. And these are all of the classes that we did with Brother Chicago Crypto Block Bully and with my good brother Raku. All right. So yeah, we got you right there. You know what I'm saying? You'll be tapped into the whole collection right there. We also have a shop where you have access to all of most of my classics right here. These are lectures that I've done. These are the books, the versions of the lectures in PDF form. These are your study guides and whatnot for these classical lectures, and these are available. And then every day we have this, all right? Nothing but news that you're not going to get on Facebook, Instagram, news that you might not get if you don't know where to get the news. So we load you up with all kind of information because data is the quote unquote gold right now. And knowledge is the highest asset. All right. Because knowledge gets you money, and money don't get you knowledge if you don't use it right. So there's your access. Come and sign up. Come and rock out with us. We over here having fun, building up, making KTL University, you know, a very good experience, a fun thing. And with that being said, word from our sponsors, and then we out of here. We'll see you on Third Eye Thursdays. Shout out to Blue Pillar. Shout out to KT, the Arch Degree Mama.
Healthy so you can get wealthy with True Health Love. We got everything that you need in terms of getting your body right for the fall, for the summer, just everyday wellness. We got herbal products. We got Sabian-inspired meal preps. We got juice preps. And we also have our soul food takeout spot in Southern California. That's right, Alkaline Soul Food in Southern California. Come on down. It's nutritious and delicious. Get healthy so you can get wealthy. TrueHealthLove.com. Peace.
What's good, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Jarrell Shaw, aka Quality, spelled differently but meaning the same. I'm here to promote my book, Quality Words to Self, to help a person understand the life that they have inside of them, the life around them, the life they come in contact with. The poetry book of the decade, Quality Words to Self, because it's all about quality over quantity, and every single one of us and everything has a certain quality within us that makes it and us what it is, right? So please purchase Quality Words to Self, available at Amazon, Ex Libris, and Barnes & Nobles. With all further ado, tap in.
I'll come down, girl, from the clouds. I exist in the clouds. Now they see me out the country. It's Red Bill. He's real. He came down from the clouds. Right.
Up in the Dumbo, smoking the gumbo. Few blocks before green, yeah, up in the jungle, coking the bundles. It's history in the making. I'm popping like fish to the grease and the bacon. My bitch is Jamaican. United we stand, dividing these bands. They hide in their hands. I'm riding in vans, slide through your land. Hopping the sprinters, tour of the underworld, popping the mentor. Land of the turtles, I'm popping that splinter. Watching the snowfall, dropping the winter. Dodging the pitfalls, watching this bitch fall. And I still managed like Rich Paul. The paper was calling, I had to go switch calls. I spoke to my twin, I told my young boys I'd never be broken again. Invoking the gins, spitting the spirits, I'm soaking the gin. Your man's in the woods, we smoking on him. Fuck do you mean? We up and squeeze, tuck it and leave, we leaving a stain. Fuck a Febreze, running the banks, causing a crashing. Feather the feds, Moorish the fashion. Horse was smashing, kicking the door. Wave on 4-4, it was blasting. Mother the gassing, loving the passion. Eat on your food, the brother was fasting. The weapon that formed against me was me. Perfected the storm as Bentley receipts. Washing the Benjis, we rinse and repeat. Century of self, I'm centered on me. Red is the pillar, I'm pushing the piece. Higher the level, I'm pushing the keys. They going for 19. The summer is mine, I'm going for 19. Thunder and lightning, flooded a brightling. The hunger was biting, biting.
Do not allow anything to take you off of your square. It's the same thing like what we see right here. Yeah, it's cloudy, yeah, it's misty, but it ain't gonna stay like that forever.